Okay, there we go. Hello and welcome to another episode of Star Trek Europa. We're a little late start today because nothing wanted to go right. And we're down one player today because nothing wanted to go right. Injuries, fevers, work schedules, everything has conspired against us today. But we're on, and I'm your host, Game Master, as always, Jeff Harvey. You can find me at Studio Tembo and all the places. If my audio is a little off, it's because my printer is in the background printing a bunch of stuff for another game that I'm sort of running but haven't run in a while. But I have a new 3D printer and I'm having fun with it. So you can find me at Studio Tembo and all other places. There's a link tree in several descriptions. I don't know if I actually put one up, but it's Linktree at Studio Tembo, or linktr.ee/Studio Tembo. I don't know. It's a weird way they do their abbreviation.
You spelled it wrong on your about section, but I will post it correctly in the chat for you.
Yeah. I don't even know where the about section is at the moment, so I got to go back and edit all my Twitch stuff. So, anyways, on that note, let's go ahead and do some introductions. Let's start with Brian. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Brian. I am my main character is Ensign Elizabeth Page. I have nothing to plug.
Ev.
I'm Ev. I am playing the CMO and First Officer, Dr. DeSavio Nayat, along with some other people. Some people I don't remember, apparently. Lieutenant Mills of Security and Ensign O'Connor of Science. And you can find me on TikTok at Caffeinatrix.
Cool. Jack, go ahead.
Hello, yes, I'm Jack. I will be playing Captain Ronnie Ambrose now, as well as plenty of other fun characters like Jisa and the newly promoted Lieutenant Tong. But when I'm not here forcing everybody to be my space friends, I am out doing my own stuff on my own channel, which is twitch.tv/The People's Ascension. You can also find me on Twitch, obviously Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube under the same name. I primarily focus on my new series, RPGs Uncovered, in which I highlight, teach, and promote new indie TTRPG games. I am this close to getting season 2 up and running, but season 1 was a blast. You can find it on all of those places. I'll throw my links in the chat as well. So if you're interested in checking out new games, learning how to play them, and getting into them real quick and easy, come follow me, come hang out on my streams, and we'll just hang out and have a good time. But for now, let's get out amongst the stars.
I have updated my Linktree bio, a Linktree thing in the bio. So there we go.
Cool.
I realized that apparently I wasn't following you on Twitch. I thought I had done like the first session, but apparently not.
Well, thank you.
You're
welcome. Okay, so where did we last leave off?
I believe the very last thing that happened was the Commissioner Philosig goading the captain into trying to deny his request that Miss Elizabeth Page be transferred to Trill for care in a sanitarium.
Yes. All right.
All too happy to oblige him.
Yes. Get her out.
No, I meant oblige him in wanting us to deny that request.
I thought you were going to get rid of Elizabeth.
I very diplomatically told him where to shove it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. Some other things that happened in that episode was mostly just, I think, people getting associated and acquainted with themselves and with our no longer present or not currently present science officer. And
away in one session.
Getting settled in.
Yes.
We just locked him and Eva in one room together with a virtual stick and told them to fight it out.
Right. As not
figure out sentience one way or another.
Yeah.
O'Connor said they can come out when he admits that Eva's sentient.
Eva just turns off life support. Yeah, I'll win.
Yeah.
Oops.
And
didn't think that one through.
We had a date with Jisa and Delphine, where Delphine put her foot down and was like, bitch, you're going to talk to me or we're not doing this anymore. And it was fantastic.
Right. Okay. Anyone else got anything else they want to add from that, or do we want to, or does anyone have a scene they want to open with? I think a good one would be the return of Milani Silva.
Yeah. Okay. So in the shuttle bay, a shuttle pod lands. Milani Silva is wearing her Starfleet red uniform. She steps out and smells it, takes a sniff of the air, and says, "Oh, nobody was here to greet me. Great. Glad to see I was missed." And heads on back to her bunk.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do an intro then. Okay, well, OBS just hates me today. I fixed that video like 3 times. Open up to back to 4. Let's go to this one even. All right, yeah, there we go. Well, OBS hates me today, so I guess we won't do an intro roll. I'll just have to do it in post. I guess that leaves us with Ambrose. I left you something. I didn't leave you very much. So you can add to it as you see fit.
Okay. Captain's log, stardate 54048.6. Well, we're back at Earth, and well, we've all seen to some needed downtime. I will say, with the introduction of some new crewmen and some promotions, that the ship is getting towards being properly staffed again. Of course, I'm saying that 2 months into a field promotion with a ship run by a juvenile AI and inexperienced crew. But we're pulling ahead. I shouldn't say inexperienced crew. Those who have been with us have been through a lot, and those who are joining us now, I'm confident they'll prove themselves. Anyway, biggest news of this trip is, of course, the Trill Commissioner, who seemed to revel at the opportunity of taking away one of my valuable officers. Essentially, 2 of my valuable officers. I'm sure that is going to be a reoccurring issue, but for now, I've informed him, as I have informed Starfleet, that it is Yezebeth's right to act on whatever recommendation the Trill Symbiosis Commission should make. In the meantime, we have crew rotations and more fuel leave to go through. Repairs are underway and nearly complete aboard the Europa at this point. I am looking forward to getting back to business. There's still a lot more to do in the Expanse.
Okay. Where do you guys want to start? Probably letting Yezebeth know about the recommendation. Actually, I will say that we'll start with it's probably a day or 2 later, unless anyone has something they want to do immediately following the last session. And Yezebeth would be receiving the recommendation of Mr. Philosig which gives us a place to start that off. You basically receive, well, not basically, you receive a notification from the Trill Symbiosis Commission that you are requested to, humbly requested to return to Trill, where you can be where you can be seen by professionals in the field.
Yezebeth is going to look at the paper, and I think she's gonna be maybe a bit upset or scared, and she's going to instinctively go to the one person that she knows will listen to her, and that, thanks to her joined mind, I think is going to be DeSavionia, going to her more as a friend than a doctor, but because she was friends with her previous host, so she's still got a little bit of wires crossed there. She's gonna bring her the thing, the recommendation, and she's going to wave it in the air. Have you seen this garbage?
I've heard their recommendation. Yes.
I can't believe this. I've seen the Trill Symbiosis Commission stoop pretty low, but this is a whole nother thing. What do they mean by unfit for joining? I've joined. It's completed. There's nothing left to fit for.
And it could be argued that if you were truly unfit, that the Hage symbiote would have rejected. From what Jorad has given me to understand, the symbiote has just as much if not more, a role in deciding their host as anyone else.
I mean, that's exactly true. I don't understand. Back on Trill, a lot of people are concerned that the Symbiosis Commission is taking too hard of a hand in the process, putting their thumbs on the scale, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to believe it. My own wife, I mean, Jorad's own wife, worked for them. But I never imagined they would. I never imagined they would try and break up a functioning host. Do you think I should go? Do you think I need to?
Ultimately, no one's opinion matters more than your own. I think you have done very well adjusting to a circumstance you never expected and never planned for. You have gone above and beyond your expectations. And while I'm not Trill, that shows me a level of dedication that says you're worthy. I think that, coupled with the fact that the Hage symbiote has not rejected you, speaks for itself.
I believe you. I'm sorry I got upset. I just this
Rightfully
makes
so.
this makes
Especially
it
she takes a letter from you. Now, Pelosic used the word sanitarium. He didn't mention disjoining because that is an entirely different issue.
The letter is not about disjoining.
Okay.
Just, I think that's an assumption on Yezebeth's part.
Okay.
true. Yeah, sorry.
No, I mean, that's a perfectly logical conclusion for her to reach in her illogical
Yes.
state.
Yes.
Do you think this has anything to do with the fact that I'm autistic?
Hmm.
I mean, I know I'm not supposed to be here in Jorad's ship as part of Jorad's crew, and I know that's a whole issue, but a sanitarium for that?
Many races have a long and sordid history of eugenics in one form or another. I would not be surprised, though I would be terribly disappointed if that's not what we're looking at. The Commission is known for its stringent screening criteria.
Someone like me never would have made it through the tests necessary. Maybe that's what they're so upset about.
I suspect you're probably correct.
Have you talked to the captain? Is he going to send me back?
I believe he and I are on the same page. The decision is yours.
Good.
You've earned your place on the ship. If you wish to stay, we will support that. If you wish to go, we will support that as well.
No, I want to stay. I spend my entire time on Trill wanting to be off of Trill. Going back now, even if it didn't mean walking into a sanitarium, would be ugh. What can I do? What I feel like I need to prove to them that I'm worthy of this. What would you do in my place?
Things that would probably get you in trouble. I've never not been one to speak my mind. Sometimes a little more loudly and bluntly than others would like. But it served me well.
I am already in trouble, so maybe it's not a bad idea.
There's a delicate balance between the Federation and the planets. You, as a member of Starfleet, are technically under contract. If Starfleet does not wish to release you from that contract, there's not really much that can be done.
That's true. And it's good to know that I won't be forced back. But even still, I can't set foot on Trill again without who knows what will happen.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I feel like I need to prove myself to him. Maybe if I can show him is there any kind of project you can put me in charge of? Something that'll show that I'm together. And I don't just mean maintaining sensors, although I'd love maintaining sensors, but something that he would note.
Talk to the captain. Let's see what we can come up with.
Great. That's great. Thank you, Dasavi. I mean, Dr. O'Neill.
You're welcome.
And she'll depart.
Could we say, actually, when Yesbeth gets back to your quarters or your station or wherever you're going, you see another correspondence which you've been CC'd, which is an equally official recommendation from the captain with official Starfleet letterhead, recommending exactly the opposite.
Recommending that she not be transferred away.
Recommending it would say something to the effect recommending that it is her choice and she is sound of mind enough to make the choice herself. However, she has proven herself a valued member of the crew. List off a number of not citations, that's sort of negative. Commendations, yeah, accomplishments and commendations. And basically making the same recommendation I said to the commissioner.
I think that she looks at it like again and again, trying to remember that it's her that it's written about, and that I think that makes her feel better quite a bit. She'll go sit on her bed and read it again.
Because Ambrose knew this was coming. I mean, the commissioner said exactly it was coming. So I think he was specifically looking for this and getting ready to throw out his own report, as he said he would.
Right. All right. With that, we will have Ambrose meeting with Admiral Arlani aboard Stardock prior to leaving the system. When you arrive, Arlani is there. Click off of that. He has the usual pensive look on his face. You know, that Mandy Patinkin look that he's got. Captain, welcome me. I'm glad you're here. You guys start walking through the hallways, heading towards, you're guessing, probably his office, as he's, he met you at the transporter, just for, trying to figure out where I'm going here. All right. Anyway, he's walking. You guys are walking towards, we'll do it Aaron Sorkin style, walking towards his office. Captain, I'm glad to see you. I trust that the Europa is nearly complete and ready to go. I've got a lot of reports here saying that, other than incomplete reports from your new science officer, that everything appears to be shipshape.
The ship itself is faring well, from what I understand. We took some hits, but we couldn't be at better hands here back at home. The ship's, I'm sure you've seen the reports on Eva. I believe that is what you mentioned. The incomplete reports from our newest science officer.
Indeed, and I have spoke with Dr. Maddox and Lieutenant Shabar Neva, and I believe that we're going to have a longer evaluation period.
Well, from what I understand, Lieutenant Foxwell is getting right at home. He'd walked into Eva's access core a couple days ago, and I've I don't think he's left since.
Well, we'll have to see, I guess. This is an experimental ship, and we knew there would be problems. But with any luck, we can get them sorted out, and your AI is going to be efficient. In the meantime, I've got some unfortunate news. He hands you one of his many data pads that he has. It appears there has been some kind of event on Romulus. Praetor Narell has been assassinated. Praetor Hiren has been ascended to the office. Unfortunately, Hiren is a well-known supporter of the Tal Shiar and opposes much of the treaty with the Federation. You'll note that is a retcon for people who had notes earlier. It used to be Hiren, but that was my mistake from earlier.
Is it now?
It used to be in my previous season. I actually said it was Praetor and Hiren already in place. That was a mistake. It should have been prior notes. Should have been Praetor Narell. It is now Praetor Hiren. Narell was the one from before. He is now dead. Hiren is now in charge.
That is troubling news, but not. It does not take me by surprise.
No. Unfortunately, we no longer have contact with any of our envoys. Romulus is recalling their delegations.
They're breaking off all diplomatic ties.
For the moment, anyways. On the good news front, colonists have recently arrived at the Halloran station. It appears that this station is in operational order, and repairs and integration of Starfleet and Federation technologies are underway. There's a several group of colonists that the Federation would like to utilize the station as something of a gateway or a launching point to go deeper into the expanse with more colonists. At the moment, we don't see any reason to curtail this. But as always, we are expanding into much territory that's uncharted.
That was a massive, ancient station beyond our current technologies. It's been less than a year. We're already colonizing.
We're colonizing more than just the station. The colonists that are arriving in the station, the Federation that is arriving on the station is there to help integrate the station into Federation, into the Federation. It is not a fully functional station yet, and to my understanding, the SSH that the Europa left is still doing its best to maintain cohesion. But the Federation colonists and researchers that have gone there are hopeful that they can do a great deal with that station and expand from there. The Expanse is a shining beacon for expansion. Since the conflict that we had with the Cardassians years ago that led to the unfortunate incidents with the Maquis and eventually the Dominion War and all the other issues that we've had with colonization going in that direction, many people are looking to untapped horizons. And the brightest star of these horizons, the brightest point on these horizons appears to be the Expanse. You're going to have your hands full with colonization heading that direction. Currently, the numbers are fairly small. A lot of the people that have gone to the Halloran Station are colonists in name only. They are more Federation researchers and scientists outside of the scope of Starfleet. Well, outside of the ranks of Starfleet, anyways.
I would advise, as little as it is my position to do so, that we keep expansion primarily to, as you said, Starfleet exploration and scientific discovery. This shining beacon, you say, is only so bright because we cannot see past the shadows.
I agree. Starfleet will be doing its best to keep a balance, and it has been recommended to the Federation repeatedly to discourage colonization of those regions.
I don't want to see another Gamma Quadrant. We can't blindly go delving into expanses. We don't know if there's more Jem'Hadar, another Dominion out there. We don't.
I don't disagree with you, Captain. Unfortunately, Starfleet only has so much control. As I said, we're going to we have made the recommendations and we'll continue to make the recommendations to the Federation Council that we disincentivize colonization in that region, at least until there is a greater level of knowledge.
And Starfleet presence.
Agreed. And that is one of the reasons that the Europa needs to get back out there as soon as possible. You're going to be the front line, Captain. You have been before and you will be again. There are ships in the... We are dispatching more ships to the region. Mostly support craft. There will be some additional cruisers in the region. But the Europa is still the primary forward-facing vessel that we have. Best sensors, and the best representation of what the Federation is and what Starfleet is capable of. With that in mind, I don't envy you the task ahead of you. We're going to do our best to curtail the colonists, but they're going to do what the colonists have always done. And we'll be required to respond as needed.
You see, he's really about to say something, and he very specifically doesn't. I'll leave that up to Aralani whether he pushes it or not. But
yeah, he stops in front of his door. I understand your hesitation, Captain. Be frank.
The colonists will do what they always do. Get eaten by Borg, swept away by the Maquis, blown to pieces by the Jem'Hadar, or simply lost.
Yep. The only other option we have is to create a barrier between the Federation and the Expanse and use Starfleet vessels to keep Starfleet citizens within the boundaries of the Federation. I think we would both agree that that is not something we can do.
No. We're a society built on free will. If they want to go out, play in the darkness and get eaten by monsters, I suppose that's their right.
It is their right, and it is our duty as Starfleet officers to find those monsters first and hopefully prevent any kind of mealtime. I don't envy your task, Captain.
I have a good ship and a good crew. We'll do what we can.
I trust... Hang on. I trust you will.
So we've discussed the Romulan border, the shadows. What about news on Kronos?
At the moment, there is no new news. However, I have spoken with Chancellor Martok recently, and he intends to make a large push towards Kronos soon. With the house of the other house.
Wasn't it
What's
Duras?
that? No, Duras is the main one.
Mm-hmm.
I keep wanting to say Vreenak, but Varnak. It's Varnak. Yeah. The House of Varnak. Vreenak is the Romulan. The House of Varnak has been absent since the Battle of that other place that we said. You got me going back looking at my notes now.
Yeah.
Since the death of Morjad and Gothmara. Balduk, yes, there we go. I didn't want to spend a bunch of time looking for it. I had lots of notes. Since the Battle of Balduk, the House of Arnak has retreated, and the House of Taral is losing ground. There is still a great deal of support due to his possessing the sword of Kalis and the mantle of, claiming the mantle of Emperor. But there's only so much more we can do there. If they enter into any Federation space, we will give aid. We are still providing cooperation with Martok's government. But the Federation Council is hesitant to do more.
Understandable. Well, I suppose the next order of business is cutting short any shore leave I was going to send my crew on. It seems we are scheduled back in the Expanse.
There's a great deal more to do, Captain. I wish you the best of luck. I do not, again, envy you your position. He says, but you get the distinct impression that he absolutely does. Like, he would absolutely kill to go out there and do what you're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, sir, any specific assignment or simply patrol?
There's a great deal to explore. It is left to your discretion, although there is a recent probe that has been finding some interesting information out past Halloran Station. It appears that there are maybe several M-class worlds in that region that have yet to be mapped or any contact with them. And the initial information we're receiving is still early. But it looks as though it could be an exciting find.
Well, getting back to exploration for exploration's sake would be a welcome return to more traditional Starfleet values.
I agree. Let's hope that Starfleet can maintain that mission a little longer. So excuse me, Captain. I have several more meetings to take.
I don't envy you your position either, Admiral.
He just kind of smiles and puts his hand on your shoulder for a second, nods, and sighs out a really heavy sigh as he turns back towards his door and goes through.
So Earth Starbase is actually Ambrose's childhood home. So
Okay.
he's going to go walk around as long as there's no urgent request for him back at the ship. He's going to go walk around one of the artificial parks and maybe go by whatever promenade marketplace they might have.
Sure.
Take a stroll down into one of the residential decks and go just walk up to one of the crew cabins and just sort of stand out in front of it. There's a brief flashback to a young redheaded child running into said apartment and seeing a childhood crew quarters. But he doesn't know who lives there now, so he huffs and turns around and makes his way back to the transporter.
All right. Anybody else have anything else they want to do? What's next? What's the next scene somebody's got?
Let's see. Would love to see Melanie Silva talk to meet someone and drop hints about where she's been. Tom, maybe?
I was going to suggest Tong because they struck up a kind of sort of friendship.
Sure, yeah.
After the secret agent failure.
Yeah, yeah. How about Shuttle Bay? They can be he can be working on some shuttles, and she can be coming to inspect them.
Sure.
There, back to Douglas has to go aside.
So Malini Silva has been gone for pretty much since they returned to Federation space, and it's all been kind of hush hush. It was stated that she'd been gone for unspecified training. So she's going to come into the shuttle bay. Tom, long time no see, big ears.
Oh, yes, Malini. Hello, hello, hi. You're here. You came by shuttle and not by transport?
I came by one of the standard. There was a shuttle that was heading up, bringing us some supplies, so I didn't want to bother the transporter crew.
Oh, no bother, no bother at all. I'm just down here working on shuttles, but I am always happy to flip those levers.
And that's why we love you. How's things been? I haven't missed any raucous action while the ship's been in Stardock, have I?
Well, a bunch of new people came on board, a lot of very interesting characters. You should go meet all of them. There's quite a few of them. We got a lot of new people in, and they're all very different from each other. Did you know that the doctor's daughter is here now? She is quite an interesting person. She came aboard along with somebody else, somebody in a gold uniform, I believe. Security and whatnot. Two very interesting characters. We got a new science officer. He's already met Eva. I was going to introduce him, and that he was eager, which is good because I'm eager too. So hopefully we'll be able to work with Eva together, because that's going to be a whole new project. I don't know if you've heard about that, but he just continues going on.
It's okay, Tom. I'm sure I'll be meeting him soon. How you been? How you been holding up?
Oh well, I'm keeping busy, doing my work, checking out my new assignments. As he pulls on his collar with a new pip.
Oh, they slapped the old pip on you. Good, congratulations.
Yes, Lieutenant Tong. Now it has a nice rings to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. So,
well, very exciting, very exciting.
Where
were you? You've been gone a while. I don't see a new pip on you.
Oh, just some boring training. Don't worry about it.
Boring training?
Oh, the most boring. Learned about star charts and gaseous anomalies, that kind of thing,
You sure you didn't slip away to Riser or something without me?
If I didn't bring Tong with me, it wouldn't be a vacation.
Exactly. Good. Well, I suppose if it wasn't a vacation, then I also suppose you didn't bring me back any souvenirs.
I didn't. I did bring back some fun, no souvenirs, but I did bring back some fun toys. All right, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, but you can't tell anyone. You gotta promise me.
Frankie, big ears, small mouths.
I'm now an agent of Starfleet Security, in addition to my roles as helmsman.
A secret agent.
Not quite. It's not all running around and going through air ducts. I'll leave that to you. It's more just,
right,
reporting on things that need reporting.
Sure it is. That's what they say in all the holo novels too.
Oh, trust me, the holo novels don't tell you half of it. Speaking of, we should get some holodeck time together. We can go on some adventures. What do you say?
Yes, very good. Actually, I heard through the grapevine that Jisa and Define, that was a whole thing. That was a whole spat. But apparently they're all good now. They're planning some sort of skiing trip or something. We should see if we could go. I've never been skiing. It sounds terrifying.
Uh, I wasn't exactly planning on a double date there, Tom.
Oh, no. Of course not. That no.
It's all good. Listen, I have this I have this Pulp Fiction adventure. You ever hear of Journey Through the Hollow Earth?
The Earth's hollow?
No, but that's part of the fun. Imagining what if it were. And you know what the answer is? Dinosaurs.
Implosion? Oh, dinosaurs.
Yeah. Meet me after your shift ends, and I'll show you what I mean. You're gonna crap your pants, I promise, Tom. It's gonna be delightful.
Dinosaurs, spiky or shorter necked Cardassians.
That seems like a good place to wrap up the scene.
All right. With that, anybody else got anything else they want to do before Ambrose goes back aboard ship and you guys start heading back towards?
No, I think I got everything out of my system between these two sessions.
Laura is negative COVID, so there we go. That's good. Just got results back.
Nice.
All right. With that, we'll have a commercial break, and Europa will head back towards the Expanse. Anything anyone wants to do while you're en route to the Expanse, you're certainly welcome to do. Otherwise, we can arrive at Narendra Station sometime later. It's a pretty long flight back, obviously. You know, it's not an overnight trip or anything.
Something like 6 weeks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
It's a
4 to
big
6
flight.
weeks somewhere in that
Yeah.
area. It's a pretty big flight. So we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit if no one else has anything they want to do.
Before we get too far, we should have the Savi Kendall meeting.
Sure. Yeah,
Go too far, it's not going to make any sense.
Right.
absolutely. So, I think for a fair amount of time she's actually dodging her mother. So, how is I'm sure Dasavi can arrange to corner her somewhere.
All new personnel have to get a physical.
Also are supposed to meet with the first officer. So
That too.
Yeah. All right. So she'll show up for her physical, and she'll glance about, and she would say, "I was hoping I could get somebody else to check on me. I guess that's not doable, huh?"
Your own mother's not good enough to be your doctor, huh?
I mean, it's kind of weird. You gotta admit.
Well, Ensign, there's going to be a lot of weird on this ship that goes far beyond our relationship.
That's a good point. I suppose I should get used to it. She'll hop up on the bed,
Yep.
and she'll pull up her sleeve. She knows what's being done.
Yep.
And
Through.
I'd like to add something.
Mm.
I'm sure Dasavi would do just a brief cursory glance at her empathy, using her empathy. And something strange she notices is that Kendall's
The thing we talked about.
yeah, she's
I hold that if you don't mind,
sure.
because I have a plan.
Okay. So
Just
she'll
going
just-
through and Yeah, unless there's like an obvious emotion that she's giving off. Dasavi's not probing at this point.
Gotcha. Well, I think even like a surface glance would tell her something's wrong. But yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. However you want to do it.
Okay. We'll go through and do all the scans and then hook you up with beepies. How was Academy?
It's good. I graduated within the top 10 percentile, which was nice. It got me a nice posting on Titan. That went okay.
Sorry, I unfortunately couldn't be there. Your father said the ceremony was wonderful.
It was great. I'm sure you've been to a couple in your day.
You here and there, but none for my own child.
And she's gonna glance around, kind of chagrined.
Any concerns?
No, she's saying, obviously lying.
Mm-hmm.
In the same voice she used to lie when she was a kid.
Any concerns you'd like to bring up to someone else?
No, I think I'm okay.
So she will to wrap up the exam and help you down off the table. So we're all set. Everything checks out. Nothing remarkable on the medical end of things. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Dr. Desab, or Dr. Onia. Boy, that's gonna get hard to say.
A lot of adjustments. All right, I'm certain you have, in fact, I know you have duties because I assigned them myself. Adjustments. I will
You're
focus on
not
those.
wrong.
As you turn to go, she will reach out telepathically. And then hitting that discomfort, just like stop and grab her head. Like brace herself on the table.
I think she notices, and rather than turning around to explain what happened, she is going to flee from the room.
Okay. Going to pursue it all?
No. When she recovers, she is going to task our last remaining counselor. Somewhere. I'm in the wrong place. There we go. Jack, did you keep your counselor?
If I can keep my counselor if there is a use for him.
Because that's the only counselor we have.
It's the only counselor we have. We haven't
Yep.
really needed a counselor.
Okay.
Yep. Samar.
Yep.
Al-Samar.
Yep. Lieutenant Al-Samar.
Yes, Doctor.
I am adding Ensign Kendall Onayet to your schedule.
Oh, the young Onayet. Very good. Very good. Though
Yes.
I assume by your face that it is not so very good.
No, something is very wrong, and I think she's more likely to tell you than me. But I will inform her that she is to be in meeting with you.
So this is I should expect that this is a meeting that she might not be so very much inclined on her own to partake in.
At least initially.
I assume by the professionalism of the station that you are presenting this to me with, that this is not a familial counseling matter.
Correct.
Well, I suppose if it is your recommendation as first officer and chief medical officer, then I am obliged to see how it is that Dr. Alsamar may help you and your daughter as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you. She will send a message to Kendall's data pad, just a simple, I don't know what that was about. Clearly, it is not something you wish to discuss with me and is very upsetting for you. I have arranged for you to meet with Dr. Alsamar. I would like you to meet with him at least once. And what you do at that point is your decision. And to give you the time of whatever appointment.
Okay. We can play that meeting out, but I don't think Dr. Alsamar is going to get very far. I think she's going to be incredibly evasive, and she's not going to answer any direct questions regarding what was going on. We can play that out if you'd like, but it might be a little frustrating.
That's up to you guys.
I think we can just like sort of flash pan over to Kendall? Yeah, Kendall walking into the counseling office and Dr. Alsamar just being good. Yes, welcome, Kendall. It is good to meet you. I heard so many very good things about you from your mother. Please sit down and we will have a conversation. And the door can close from there.
She'll sit down. She'll say, what do you need? I'm an open book.
Oh, well, that is very good because I do very much enjoy reading. So tell me, if you are an open book, as you say, how would you synopsis your life for me?
Well, I was born on Beta Z. I have been attending Starfleet Academy. I graduated, and now after a brief stop on the Titan research station, I'm here on board ship. My favorite color is orange. I'm not sure what else to say, Doctor.
Well, I suppose the book of Kendall Oniet must have some very exciting chapters in it, and I look forward to exploring those with you.
Is it mandatory?
From what I understand, this is not compulsory as of yet. However, it has been recommended by the senior staff that you and I have a conversation. And that need to be all it is, a friendly conversation.
I'll be honest. We can have a conversation, but that's all it's going to be. I'm fine. I really am.
Nobody here is saying that you are not.
My mother did. That's why she recommended that she talk to me.
Well, I believe when I spoke with her, I never heard her say anything about you being ill or compromised in any way.
I know. It's just...
Is there a reason you are assuming we think you are ill fit?
It's not really something I can explain to you.
Well, I will admit that my medical expertise is one of psychology, not so much whatever may physically be going on, if there is indeed anything physically or even professionally going on. But I know that the mind is a labyrinth of difficult twists and turns, and it can be very difficult for one, even within one's own mind, to navigate that labyrinth alone.
When you say a labyrinth, you're picturing a maze, right? One that you have to wind your way around and find all the nooks and crannies, right? Back home on Beta Z, we look at a maze from the top down. We know what somebody's thinking. If we have a crush on somebody, they know it. If we hate somebody, they know it. If somebody has deep-seated trauma that they are burying underneath it, they know it. So I don't see what this is going to do.
Well, it does seem that your unique physiology does give you an extra perception that many of us do not have, but that does not make the intricacies of your own mind any easier to navigate. I'm sure you and plenty of other betazoids would agree that the mind is not so concrete in its walls. They're shifting in how they are perceived with your emotions day to day, how the events of your life may shape your perceptions.
Maybe, but if it's not affecting my job, then that's how my walls shift are my business.
That is very true. As a fan of interior decoration myself, you are free to do with your walls as you please.
She actually lets out a smile at that. All right, I'm glad we agree.
But as a fan of interior decoration, I do have plenty of opinions. And is that not what I'm here for? Conversation, advice, and opinions.
I'm not really looking for any of them right now.
Well, you do say that as long as it does not affect your performance, that it is your concern. But it is my concern that we see to it that it does not come to affecting your performance, whatever this ephemeral that may be.
I will make sure it doesn't.
Well, I would still advise that we have a follow-up conversation.
Is it mandatory?
I would prefer to not make our conversations compulsory. I find that gets in the way of establishing a helpful rapport.
Then I'm going to have to decline.
Well, then I will have to put that in your medical report, and of course that would go on to the chief medical officer.
Of course it will.
If you do not want to talk to me as a professional, or your mother as someone of your family, perhaps because it does seem that there is something on your mind, that you are chasing yourself, that is chasing you, that is lost in that mental labyrinth, I do not know yet. But if you cannot talk to either of us, perhaps there is somebody that you can talk to. Or perhaps simply to yourself in the form of a journal or a log.
That's not a bad idea. I will keep that in mind.
Very good. I am full of them, not bad ideas. The more you come back, the more you will get.
I'll keep that in mind as well.
One of my door is always open. You stop back or make an appointment. I will be sure to give you plenty of advice on how to move your ferns and wall decorations around.
All right.
Right.
Thanks for speaking with me. But I do need to get back to work.
Ensign. Well then, Ensign, very good. You're dismissed. Get back to work.
Perfect. So
Cool. It's a character from the first season that I think that might be the first time we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they always add a new character who is always there.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2.
Yeah. I don't have any graphics or any images for that character, so if you want to get those,
Yeah, you do.
I don't have them anywhere I can see them. So.
Oh. You can't just flash up the picture on. Of course, I don't have the GM interface, but I think there's a way. I mean, it's on my character sheet.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. After this.
Okay, yeah, that's not important.
Oh, I see. Never mind. You're up there. Look at that right there.
Yes, Ranul Al-Samar is. He's a lieutenant junior grade, so I mean, still fairly low as far as counselor. Right. Yeah, so he's fairly young. This is going way far back in in character planning, so I don't know if I remember too much about him. But yes, he's Middle Eastern, young-ish lieutenant junior grade, so he's probably in his mid to late 20s. Yeah, we'll see how he turns out.
Yeah, I'm excited. Always nice to meet characters that we already knew. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to do before we get to Narendra Station? If not, we will jump to Narendra Station.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Some time has passed. It is about, as we said before, it's about 5 to 6 weeks for Europa to get to Narendra.
Actually, can I just ask, because it would show up in Kendall's official medical record that she went to this meeting and declined further meetings. That's probably about it because, you know, confidentiality and all that. Sure. But would Dasavi bring that up again with either of us? No? Okay.
Not right now.
Not yet, anyway. All right. What's that?
I was just saying I want to let that boil a little bit longer. Anyway.
So Europa arrives at Narendra. As you pull into the system, as you come out of warp, there are a number of Federation starships and Klingon starships that are there. Martok's ship is not, but you can see that a lot of his subordinate and command ships are there. General Kargan. There we go. Kargan. General Kargan is there. His ship is there anyway. The number of Federation ships that are there, there's a handful.
I don't remember exactly from the end of last season. He's still in relatively good graces.
Questionably good
I know
graces.
he kind of flipped sides towards the end, but he.
So at the end, he had basically said that to you and to Martok that he was going to do his best to make it up to regain his honor.
Right. We exposed the plans and working with the Romulans and Borg nonsense and yada yada. And
okay. And Martok has left him as a he's left him at Narendra, and he is working for Martok now. But he may or may not be the Klingon, the primary Klingon attaché to Narendra.
Gotcha. For a Klingon, being assigned desk work is definitely a demotion.
Yes.
Before we get too deep, could we take a small break?
Yeah. Let's take a few.
Sounds good.
And we're back. I forgot where I was. All right, so you've arrived at Render Station, and as we discussed, there are Klingon ships and Federation ships. The Federation ships that are there are, if you care to know, the LaSalle, the Lionheart, and the Mackinac are all present. Which I can get into more. I can get more into those later if anyone wants to know. But for now, those are the 3 ships that are in the area plus yourselves.
One of those is a Constitution, right?
At one time, the LaSalle, I think, was.
Okay.
Sal, the Mackinac, and the what?
The Lionheart, the LaSalle, and the Mackinac.
Are any of them like big ships, like powerhouse ships?
The Lionheart is a ambassador. That's the biggest you got.
Okay. Cool.
The Mackinac, I believe, is actually would actually be pretty big too. That's a nebula, so she's not a small one. You got 2 decent sized ships, and LaSalle is the ambassador ships. Oh my god, what are they called? The Enterprise B. Excelsior.
Excelsior, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that was missing my. So you have an Excelsior, a Nebula, and an Ambassador plus you guys.
Cool.
So you're still the best and the brightest, the newest ship out there. But you're not, alone.
We got some firepower in our backyard.
Yep. Other than that, as you come into system, you are hailed by the Narendra station. They welcome the Europa back into the system, into the Shackleton Expanse, and offer you hospitality that is typical of the station. You'll note that this time, when you came here the first time, almost everything was run by Klingons. Narendra station was really a Federation station that was managed and run by Klingons. But in this particular instance, when you get by, now that you're back, it appears to be almost entirely Federation or Starfleet operations. There will be some Klingons on station, but for the most part, everything appears to be Federation based.
Klingons keep having civil wars. This is why they can't have nice things.
That's why they can't have nice things. Federation keeps taking away their toys. So yeah, I don't actually have a picture of the Narendra station. I meant to do one at one point, but I never did. It's basically a starbase. It's the one that's in the beginning of the video, in the intro video. So go back and watch the intro video.
Okay.
So yeah, anything you guys want to do now that you're at station? Anyone you want to talk to? Anything you want to get at? You've got your list of missions that are still held over from before, so you guys can set off course to do what you want. And I gave a couple of new hints at things that are out there now.
I added to our thingy stuff.
You added stuff to our thingy.
I
Yeah,
did.
she added the Quonos is still in turmoil. Probe has found evidence of several Class M worlds past the Halloran system, and
the
the Romulans have pulled the delegations from the Federation.
So if I remember correctly from last season, there was a Romulan office here, right?
There was, yes. That is Toshiri's office.
Mm-hmm. I assume that's been vacated and either repurposed or just left.
At the present moment, if you go on board station, it is simply just empty. Actually, a lot of Toshiri stuff is still there.
There's 2 things that Ambrose would do. He would go there and he would see if there's anything to find. He's not gonna go digging too deep in her stuff if she still left stuff there, but see if something was slipped under a windowsill or something. And then also in the same vein, because I believe he did I don't know if have access to is the right terms, but he was made aware of a Romulan communication frequency, like a special Romulan communication frequency. So he would see if there's any evidence of like a covert message being sent at all.
Okay. You guys arrive at the station. Ambrose, you beam over and you find what I said.
He would actually, for that second part, I think he would enlist Cherka.
Sure.
Yes, Beth.
Let's come back to that in a second. Then we can have that scene, and you guys we'll make a roll and everything and do that. When you head to the office of the Romulan adjutant, you find that the door is locked. Not hard for you to get past that. You can really just push the button and
Captain, now I can get in all the doors.
Exactly. You can pretty much do what you want to do. The room looks pretty much as if someone left it in a hurry. Like there's still a cup of a beverage on the table, like a coffee, kind of some equivalent of Romulan coffee. There are a number of papers that are there, and other than that, as you dig through, you don't really find a whole lot. Give me a. Let me think here. I haven't had you guys roll for a skill in over 3 months, so I don't know.
First roll of the game.
Anymore. First roll of
through episode 2.
First roll of season 2.
Could I make an argument for insight security?
I was going to suggest insight security, actually. So,
okay.
Insight security with the focus that I don't think you have. No, I don't think any focuses that apply.
Probably not. Okay.
Difficulty is going to be 3.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to spend 1 threat.
For what, complication range?
No. Yes. Actually, complication range, yes. Sorry.
So, complication 2, task roll 3. Is that how this works?
You'd roll... I forgot how the system, how the
complication
sheets work in this game.
Yeah, it's complication range 2. Make sure you highlight each of the skills you're going to use, and then click the. Make sure you're rolling 2 dice, unless you're spending momentum, and then click the button.
Where does it show dice?
It'll show it in the main screen
on the right of the character sheet. Is where it task roll.
Is that task roll is the number of dice rolled? Okay.
Yeah, task roll is the number of dice.
It doesn't have a field for putting in the necessary hits.
You don't. You just roll and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this doesn't do the math for you, like Fantasy Grounds does.
What does that mean?
So you got 0, 0. That is 0 successes.
Okay.
So you rolled. It doesn't show what you actually rolled. I think you have to hover over to see what you actually rolled.
Yeah, you can hover.
That is a whole complicated string of nonsense.
It's the last number that it's the first number on the last.
I think that's an 18 and a 16 I rolled, which
that's
2
exactly
failures. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So, all right. So you fail, and neither of those are in the complication range, although close. For shits and grins, I'm going to go ahead and spend this other one to make it in the complication range because I want that complication to happen, and it's not a complication you're going to notice anyway. So, as you're going through the room, you do not find anything of note. You do find a pad with a letter on it that is began, "Dear Father."
Put it down.
It doesn't go any farther than that, actually.
Okay.
So that's actually as far as the letter got. It does have an address to who it is being sent to, if you want to see that. But ouch.
Like this is outgoing correspondence that never made it to the mailbox.
Yeah, never even got finished. So it just has like a, it's like an email. This is who it's to. Here's the subject line: dear Father. But yeah, that's
Jack would, Ambrose wouldn't.
Yeah, okay.
He's just going to put it back down. There's nothing to see here. He's just going to leave and relock the door.
All right.
Wave around the room to the Romulan surveillance devices that surely called him.
Yes. I will say that I don't want to say that. I'll leave that for later. All right. So you get a hold of Chirka then.
Yes, yes, Captain. Hi. Hello.
Yes, good. I've been meaning to talk to you, actually.
It's not
haven't-
Chirka anymore. Sorry. Not
It-
Chirka anymore.
and Ambrose would still be like, yes, and Cherica.
Actually, Captain, it's Ensign Hage now.
Right, of course it is. Ensign Hage, my apologies. I have a little project for you if you're interested. Not an assignment, but a request.
Okay. Yeah. What's going on?
Remember on our last mission, it's been a while. We exchanged some communications along an unusual frequency. I was wondering if you could help me see if there's been any more communications along that same frequency.
I think I can do that. Yeah. All I have to do is rig up the subspatial denominator to determine what frequencies it might be using, or what. I'll filter out the spatial distortion. Yeah, I think I can do that.
A bouncing out on Hargle beam off the main deflective dish. I got this. All right. Go ahead and give me a control and science or control and engineering.
I'll do control and engineering.
As an engineering role, it'll be difficulty 3.
Does
Is there
do either of my focuses in sensors or troubleshooting apply to this?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and I'll give you a threat to roll another die.
That's what that noise came from.
That is 3 successes.
I remember how to add a threat here.
You can just drag it from the deck. I'll
Yeah.
plop it on screen.
It appears to say that there are no more cards left in that deck.
Oh, it should be infinite. Hold on.
This doesn't seem to have any cards. Add some cards to it before you draw from it.
Hold on. You must have unchecked. I can fix it. Oh, I can't fix it while I'm not GM.
That's right. I'll fix it later.
Okay.
So what did you get? Sorry.
I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Difficulty was 3, so that works.
Mm-hmm.
You discover that indeed there have been some messages sent. There's actually an active message at the moment. It's on repeat.
Okay. I will listen to it before I send it over.
Okay. Do you speak the Romulan?
I can run it through the universal translator.
Yes. Basically, it says, and I didn't write it out because I wasn't expecting you guys to do this quite this early in the storyline. This is like a 2 or 3 sessions from now thing I was going to do. So it's a message from Toshari to someone? Question mark? Probably. Well, it doesn't. You don't really know who it's to, but clearly she's sending it to somebody who she thinks she can find it.
Sure.
That it repeats that she has been taken, or she is being taken by the Tal Shiar and placed in custody It's a lot of guarded language, but that she has been essentially imprisoned and is a political prisoner of the Tal Shiar. And it gives coordinates as to where she was last located.
Oh boy. I'll bring up the captain. Captain, there's a message, and you're not going to like it.
I suppose I did not instruct you to simply pass it forward.
Secret agent Hage.
Look, it wasn't classified. You didn't say it was classified.
Suppose I didn't. I will be more direct in the future.
The message said that she's been taken prisoner by the Tal Shiar. She left her last known coordinates. It wasn't addressed to anybody in particular.
It's encoded in a nursery rhyme.
It seems to be encoded in a nursery rhyme.
I was going to do it. I was going to write it all out and everything else, but I was going to be like 3 sessions from now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Ensign. Should anyone ever bring this up, I would advise you not to lie, but I would also advise you not to bring this up in idle conversation.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for your help. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Amber is out. We're all Hage now. Just passing the
I take the
symbiote
symbiote
around.
for myself.
Yeah. It's like hot potato with the symbiote.
Glory to me and my worm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna sit in the dark in his captain's quarters and just have a think on that for a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Episode 2 of season 2 is the time for an unsanctioned Romulan prison break episode.
I have some stuff for it, but not yet.
You
The
might want to
Admiral did tell us about the Romulans for a reason.
Yeah.
He couldn't just come out and say, hey, go rescue your girlfriend. He had to be, politically correct about it.
I mean, he could cause an interstellar incident.
Nails. We've done plenty of those. It's fine. We're already working on one with Trill.
Yeah, if we don't do it, if you don't just jump at it right now, which you don't need to, I will send you some information that I was going to give, that I was going to lead up to, and we can do it in a we can bump that episode up for you. But let me get you some information first.
Yeah, you get me that information, but I think Ambrose is going to find some sort of reason, as solid as he can, but he's going to find some sort of reason to put the ship on that course. Like it's just free exploration. There's probably some cool stuff out in that direction. See if we can't just start edging our way in that direction.
Okay. Are we on the bridge?
Sure.
We can be.
I think Elizabeth is going to look a bit unsure as you give those orders. That she's going to.
Okay. This is the way I interpreted the scene. I kind of figured I'd be like standing over your shoulder the whole time, but you played it out differently, which is fine. So I think you would have sent that message over to me, and I would have sat and had to think about it. But before we get to any, I would call a senior staff meeting before assignment where we're going to get going.
Let's do a mostly senior staff meeting. Your chief science officer is not currently available, as he is heavily in the middle of a reprogramming session of modifying some moving around some data linear chips from Eva, and if he stops, there's a very good chance that it will make Eva very angry, and he will be deleted.
He will be deleted.
He will be deleted. So, proceeding on not that course. He and Tong are currently setting up an emitter of some kind, a projector of some kind for her avatar.
Okay. So it's I would think that the Savi and Ambrose would be the shoo-ins, but then I suppose it's a little bit of an open question of whether Ensign Hage is going to be in a senior staff meeting. She did ask for more responsibility.
Yeah, and she is ops officer.
Oh, well, I was thinking maybe that we could transition into her being assigned the position of ops officer. She wasn't that until now.
Yeah.
All right, and then we probably got Mills and Koba over here on the side because they're jointly doing the security officer at the moment. And then if it's the entire senior staff, you'd have a chief engineer there. So
Ostra doesn't have any opinions that don't have to do with his engines. He's gonna put his bandana over his eyes, wake me when we get to something I gotta fix. But Hage will put her fingers together and she'll, Captain, I know you want to go rescue her, but it seems like tensions are kind of high right now. Wouldn't doing this kind of inflame things?
I'm not sure I follow you, Ensign. We're here to discuss the route that we're taking throughout the Expanse. I don't remember being ordered on a rescue mission.
She'll stuff her hands in her lap and be quiet.
Like he gives you like real I told you not to talk about these eyes.
She will.
Misabi's looking at you with like she has a physical raised eyebrow and a telepathic raised eyebrow. Like the fuck you doing?
She will shut the fuck up.
Yep. Great. Blowing my cover with the telepath in the room. All right. Which is probably like a real quick flash of things that Dasavi does get. Like, shut the fuck up, Ensign. This wasn't what did. God damn it, Dasavi. Shit.
you just get like a talk later.
Yeah.
This episode just became rated R.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I usually try to stick to the PG-13 Star Trek thing. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, I called this meeting because we're back in the Expanse. We have a number of different things we can, a number of fronts we can proceed upon, but all in all, we have some upstart colonists who are breaking down the doors, as it were, to get into this unknown region and lay claim. I'd like to, one ship as we are, try to explore as much of the interesting looking bits of space as we can get to before they do.
Kova will say, well, colony ships make for tempting targets for pirates. Perhaps we can look for pirates while we're there, while we're out exploring. You can keep those colonists safe.
Be a good idea to keep our sensors going at all time. I agree. I'm sure there's still remnants of whatever loose Klingon piracy force that had joined up with House Varnak. So yes, we'll keep sensors open for something like that. No real news on Kronos. But if there are rogue Klingon ships that break into Federation or Federation explored space, we'll respond as needed. We should also be on the lookout for any Romulan ships. They have cut diplomatic ties which means we can't assume anything, really. Most notably, I was informed that Halloran Station is up and running, best as it can be. Colonists, mostly scientists, are en route there, if not already installed. And that a probe sent out in that direction had detected some points of interest. GM, would that coincidentally, in any way, shape, or form, allow me to make a course that would put us anywhere near close to those coordinates?
Not towards the Romulans. No, the Halloran Station is actually closer to the south side. South.
Completely wrong direction. All
yeah,
right.
it's kind of the wrong direction. Not completely the wrong direction, but let me. It doesn't really matter. We never actually said where it started, but let me put you guys over here real quick. Players can come over here for a second, so you can see the map. I assume everyone can now see the map. I'm hoping everyone can now see the map.
Yep.
So Icobar, Iconia, that's where you guys were prior. Starbase 364, that's the render station. The Halloran Station should be somewhere around like the J60, J62 area. So if you're looking, it should be like right here-ish.
Okay.
So it's like the south side of the tip of this Romulan sector over here.
Mm-hmm. And whereabouts were those? I assume those coordinates were in Romulan space.
They are in Romulan space, absolutely. Yeah, they would be. If the captain there is looking for them, I don't think this map goes big enough to show them. But they'd be closer here to the Lambda crate. This over here.
Okay.
Could you? I've got a thing. I've got things that can mark a map. Could you point those out one more time? And I'll put things down there.
Yeah, J60.
Okay. Ooh, hold on.
That is where the Halloran Station is. I hadn't gotten far enough to actually start putting stuff on the map yet.
Yeah. Apparently, I cannot just drop these on the map.
That's all right. We'll do it later. I know where they're at. So it's the J60 and N32 are the two locations. If you guys want to just take note of that for the moment.
Okay. Do we have any reports from Starbase 173 about anything interesting happening?
Nothing new from them at the moment. The only thing they would give you is that the Romulans have gone much quieter. Like normally they'd be able to see a couple of patrols and every now and then in or around the neutral zone, not in the neutral zone obviously, but around the neutral zone area, all Romulan activity, all visible Romulan activity has ceased.
Those three ships you mentioned around Narendra, is that like all we got in this area?
There are other like support vessels, Mirandas and Oberth, stuff like that, but they're not. Yeah.
But we're essentially the flagship of this region.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think it's time we fly the colors. The Romulans decided that they're withdrawing from diplomatic relations, which is their prerogative to do so. But that means we are going back to the old ways of keeping an eye on a neutral zone and making sure that our presence is made aware. From what I understand, there's no urgent matter at Halloran Station or beyond, so I'd say it's important to remind the Romulans that we remember how the old ways are. Go fly the flag around the border for a little bit and then see what we can see moving on.
So you make your way to Starbase 173 then, and then out from there.
That would be in character in this meeting.
No, I see. Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to make sure that I, as a GM, know what you're planning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can get some detailed readings while we're there. I might be able to focus the sensors to scan deep into Romulan territory.
Well, we wouldn't want to violate the sanctity of of their borders. But I'm sure the sensors in the region should be recalibrated to make sure that we have a good eye on at least our section of the neutral zone, and if we find something along the way. I think that's a good idea. We'll fly the flag, pay the Starbase a visit, see if they need any help, sensor calibrations, if there's any news that needs to be passed along, and see what's there and move on. I remember these meetings being more talkative, but I think that's basically because I was arguing with the captain. Does anyone have any opinions?
Get the sense that Dasavi has an opinion, but it is she will reserve that opinion for later.
Koba will say, when you say we're going to patrol the neutral zone, what happens if we run into a Romulan? Are they allowed to be on this side, or what?
Correct me if I'm wrong, GM, but if they rescinded from all diplomatic relations, if they're in our space, they're in violation, right?
Technically, they've not actually withdrawn from any treaties formally. They've just pulled their delegations back, so it's kind of an act to be turned to. Starfleet would probably approach most things with yellow alert at the very least. Mm-hmm. Like Starfleet certainly believes there's a potential for hostile action. The Federation, in their hands, says they're still our technical allies. You know, we're going to get into a lot of that Starfleet versus Federation in this season, by the way.
Well, they've not been talking with us much recently, but they haven't gone back on any of our agreements. They're still welcome in our space as long as they comport themselves appropriately. That is what I aim to make sure to remind them of. If we run into them and they deign to announce themselves to us, we should give them a friendly hello and extend the hospitality of Federation space to them and remind them that they are guests here.
Right. So hold the phasers, at least until they leave. At least unless they don't leave.
At least unless they're hostile, if I'm interpreting the captain correctly. Mill says.
Right. I've been in a lot of meetings with admirals and commissioners lately. In this room, I can speak more frankly. Yes, if we do come across any Romulan ships, we should immediately engage in yellow alert. That means shields up, phasers charged, but not targeting anything. We don't need any fingers on the trigger, as it were. They are still potentially our allies. We don't know much about what is going on Romulus. However, there has been the information on the assassination and
The new praetor.
Yeah, the new praetor. Was that classified, or is that
It is for senior officers. So
Okay.
Everyone in this room
Yeah.
can have it.
I've been informed that the previous praetor, Norel, was recently assassinated, and the pro Tal Shiar new praetor Hiron is in charge now. We have limited intelligence, but we do know that he does support the Tal Shiar and the older ways of the Romulan Star Empire, which obviously contradicts current Federation Romulan treaties. So we should remind any ships, any Romulan ships while they are here, that until their new praetor makes any new agreements or rescinds from the ones we have, that there is still a way of doing things in Federation space. So stern but friendly, let's say.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I'll have to brush up on my Picard. I don't plan on patrolling the border long. Simple show of face, and then we move on. All right, until something out here explodes, it's exploration for exploration's sake. That means keep the sensors going, keep the science labs fully staffed and operational, and when Foxwell and Eva playtime is over, we'll loop that all in. There's nothing else. You're all dismissed.
Sure. Girls will leave. Isavi will linger.
Look at that. I didn't even delete Zavi because I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hage will walk, almost walk out, and then she'll turn back, and she obviously wants to stay, but she's going to leave.
So I assume everybody but Dasavi has left.
Yes.
Yeah. Ambrose didn't even attempt to turn around and walk towards the door. I'll stand up and walk around to the other side of my chair and just put my hands on the back of the chair, sort of look out the window once everybody leaves. Computer engaged privacy mode.
Dasavi's still there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Done.
I presume I can speak freely.
Go ahead. I value your opinion.
I clearly don't have all the details. I presume as well this has something to do with your Romulan contact from the station.
This was something I was hoping to bring up to you on a more official capacity. But yes, I had a hunch that there may be some troubles after what I've heard, and decided to do some digging. Unfortunately, the best person suited for that digging currently doesn't know which of her many mouths to keep shut at the moment. But yes, we have a friend in the Romulan Star Empire who is in need of help. And unfortunately, it's not through a channel that's it's a whisper for help out across the void to nobody in particular.
Dasavi would not have been briefed on the secret mission with the No, my brain is completely failing.
I doubt
Doing
anyone would
stuff.
have told you about that mission unless
No.
Ambrose specifically told you.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Because that was all like super hush
Mhm.
hush. This puts us in a very risky position.
It does.
This is not a Federation sanctioned mission.
It's not a mission at all yet.
Not officially.
Flying the flag. Keeping our ears open. You definitely get like an internal struggle for a second there. Have no intention at the moment of starting an interstellar crisis between the Federation and the Romulans.
They're always on the edge of an interstellar crisis.
It doesn't
The
take much,
Romulans.
does it?
No.
But I've spent more than my fair share of time in a prison. Cardassian prison, a Jem'Hadar prison, not a Tal Shiar prison, but I can't imagine the hospitality is much better there. This would be easier for me if I knew this was not a begrudging field promotion for you, but you are my executive officer. You are my number one now. That means you are privy to things that you wouldn't otherwise be privy to as simply the ship's doctor. But if you're uncomfortable in that role, I need to know.
I don't think this is a role I will ever be fully comfortable with. This was not how I expected or envisioned my career path. However, it is what it is. I'm not uncomfortable, but I am concerned.
Good, that's your job.
We know for sure this is a message sent by her and not a trap. The Romulans are known for their subterfuge. And if the Tal Shiar are essentially in control at this point, they would be looking for an excuse.
I'm fairly confident the message is genuine. I can't be confident it wasn't intercepted, but it was conveyed softly on an unusual channel, encrypted in a very specific way that it was intended for me. I know that.
And you're doing this for the right reason.
There are aspects of the previous mission that I don't particularly care to get into at the moment, but this is an ally of the Federation in whatever way, shape, or form they're currently able to be. But this is somebody I fought alongside with, somebody who risked their life for the same thing I was risking my life for, risked their reputation. their family. We were at war. Federation doesn't leave its people behind. Neither do I. Whether they're in uniform or not.
So be it.
That said, we don't have much to act on. Don't worry, I'm not going to fly us straight into Romulan space, blasting a call to surrender.
I would be incredibly concerned if you did at that point.
Would certainly put them on their back foot, at least for a bit, I'm sure.
Right, until the other 3 ships decloak and obliterate us.
But I stand by what I said. I think we do need to go fly the flag, make our presence known. This is bigger than just this distress call. This is bigger than just a rescue mission, should it turn into it. This is how things are done now. There's a neutral zone and a border that needs to be patrolled, and we have 4 ships, including ours, that are in any way capable of doing so. I'm not looking for a fight, but I'm not going to back down from one either.
I'm certain you understand the risks, not only to your career and your reputation, but to the lives of the people on this ship and the other 3 ships in the area.
I do. I have no way of knowing how old this message was, in what state the person is in, or whether they're still at those coordinates. This isn't actionable information. But I intend to put us in a position where if there is actionable information, I want to be able to find it. Then we'll go from there.
Well, let's hoist the flag.
Do I get anything off of Dasavi?
He's worried a little bit, but there's a lot of respect there. And it's probably the biggest emotion that she's feeling.
I want to remind you, because I think you were somehow always in the right place to intervene when myself and the former captain, and myself and Hage, were having disagreements. Those disagreements are part of your job now. I'll have to see if I can find some other insightful telepath to be a mediator between us. But keep me on my toes.
Should the need arise that I need to put you on your toes, I will do so. You've clearly thought this through. You've weighed the options. I trust you know what you're doing.
All right, let's get to it then.
Actually, start and head out.
Yep. Helm, set course for the Romulan border, closest to Starbase 173. Take us away.
Okay. I think that's actually probably a good place to end for the night.
That's what I was thinking too. My head is killing me.
Sure.
All right. Plus, that leaves us an actual ending point where we're not trying to figure out where to go.
Right.
Let me find my notepad here. So, with that, what moment stands out most to you this evening?
Probably the moment when I saw your storyline and I was like, hey, we're doing this now.
To be fair, this is in my storyline. It's just farther down the road.
Yep, I was just like, I want that piece all the way back there. I'm gonna shove it right up in. There we go. That's better.
One day you'll learn to just start preemptively removing paragraphs.
Well, the nice thing is that the way I've got it set up is if you hadn't discovered that, you'd have had things to do first.
Mhm.
But now that you have, you can do this and then still have more stuff to do later. So
Right.
I didn't write it contiguously. Like, it's not like you build up to this. It was at some point we have now had the Romulans out there for a little while. Like, we haven't heard from Toshiri, and you'll see this message.
Cool.
So, anybody else got a moment that stands out most to them?
I like Milani and Tong's conversation.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, fun conversation. I want to see more of those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Silva coming aboard ship was very, very brief.
Don't ask Tong about the news of the ship unless you want to know all of the news going on aboard ship.
Yeah. I imagine Tong is pretty into the rumors of the ship too.
Oh yeah. He's he's the tender of the grapevine.
Yeah.
Terrific.
And do you have anything for that, Ev?
Sorry, I have been half present.
No, it's fevers will do that to you. Who best embodied their character tonight? I liked Silva. I liked Tong. I think Ambrose had a chance to really do some stuff. I think everyone did a pretty good job tonight.
I really liked Kendall. I think that was a great introduction to that character and the problems that she's going through without actually figuring out what those problems are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that was good. I'm glad you guys played that scene out.
Kendall and Raul, I actually really liked that scene a lot. And I know we were going to jump past it, and then you kept kind of poking at it, which I liked. You know, I was for that. And I thought it worked out really well. So,
yeah, no, it's good. I liked it. It worked out well. Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing a little more of that. Plus, that gives us a little bit more of the background to have that slow burn for Kendall actually matter a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah.
I like Yezbeth in this episode too.
Yeah. I like that Yezbeth couldn't
really
remember to not talk about something that she was told not to talk about 5 seconds earlier.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I mean, you said not to bring it up in casual conversation. This was a senior officer meeting. Like, it's not really casual conversation.
Clearly, this is not what you meant. I like that though. I thought it was good. What did you see from a character or player that you want to see more of in the future? I would like personally to see more Raul. I liked that.
Ranuel.
I feel like he actually, what is it? Ranuel?
Ranuel.
That's what, yeah.
Raul,
it's way over there. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. I liked seeing.
He's buried real deep in my notes.
Yeah. That was one of your original character concepts that we just kind of avoided.
Yeah, we just never had a need for.
No. Well, we had 2 counselors for a very short time, and then we didn't need any, and then now we have a need for one apparently.
Fortunately, he's actually one of my main characters that I recycle from system to universe to universe.
Okay.
So I actually know who Ranuel is. I just need to figure out who he is in Starfleet now.
Right. I like the interior decorator.
That was a fun conversation
Thing. I think that was a fun addition.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything for that one?
No.
What are we on? What we want to see more of?
What would you like to see? What have you seen from another player or character that you want to see more of? Usually, this question is like a way. It's the wishes and stars thing. Here's your wishes. Here's your stars section. Like this person did this thing very well. I want to see more of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was the last scene of the day, but I do want to see more Dasavi like doing the XO thing. Like, hey, watch yourself.
Yeah.
You're the
Check
captain now.
yourself before you wreck us all.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could change one thing about this session, what would it be? Obviously, having everybody here would be nice. I would like more time in the last 14 days to actually have prepped, but
My brain to not be jello.
yeah, you not to have a fever, Laura not to be sick in the room. Brian apparently has a headache.
I got a migraine about halfway through the night. It's killer.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to see more. I have two things actually. I'd like I'd like to have a bit more like in character discussion about like what we're going to be doing. I feel like the Black Ops nature of this mission is, and keeping things very close to the chest, isn't really giving us much to work with in terms of like.
Well, I think he's not trying to do the mission just yet. I think that's part of what it is. He's just moving out there to see what's going on, and we're not actually to the doing a mission yet part.
Well, yeah, but we're headed in that direction, and we're not really involved in that discussion, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't really a discussion that I intended to really bring up.
That's my point. That's my point. That's the part I'm saying I wish had gone differently. I wish it would have been more of a discussion. Like it seems like you should be able to trust your senior officers with that kind of thing. Like,
it's still fairly early.
It's very early. It's very classified. It's very unsanctioned, and it's also one of my favorite Star Trek tropes where Picard specifically could not tell people what was going on.
Yeah.
I like that. But
I think I think you're right though. When it comes down to actually doing mission time, more people have to be involved. But
right. Oh yeah.
This whole mission was what I have for this mission is actually I've planned the mission for specific characters to go on it. And I sent Jack a message a few minutes ago. I don't know if you saw it yet, but like,
nope.
Okay, here are the characters that I was thinking need to go on this mission, and part of the reason why we're doing some things we're doing. Like, and I'll work with Jack to lead up to what we want to do there. Like, I have a mission for this, specifically for a select group of characters to go on.
In my mind, this was one of those like real brief little teasers that you get at the beginning of the season,
right? That
doesn't really come to any sort of fruition or actually make any sense until later in the mission, like in the beginning of the season when they found that crater of a whole missing town.
But that's not how we're
learn until much later that it was an actual Borg problem.
But we aren't treating it like that. We're instead treating it like we need to act on it now.
Only kind of.
That wasn't my intention. So if it came across that way, I'll have to work on that.
So I get what I feel like you're not wrong.
I get what you're saying.
It was coming off at first, Brian, because I think I've had the same thought that you guys are going to go out here and just to show the flag and then go across the border and do the thing. I don't think that's what Jack's actually trying to do with the one. I think it's more of an excuse to go out and see what's going on, and then when more information comes up, which will not be in the next session, not for that anyway. When we have more time and more everything else, you have a chance to go and explore it.
There also wasn't much to talk about because Jeff doesn't have anything for me to talk about for it yet. Yeah. So I was just kind of like, hey, let's go in this direction. And
because you jumped ahead several sessions. Yeah. So like,
and we didn't really have like an actual mission to go on. It wasn't even like in the beginning of last season when we were like, here's some things here and here's some things here.
You're the one who established the mission, which was go to the border and we don't know it, but it's to find out more about the prisoner. I mean, just because we don't know the mission doesn't mean there isn't a mission, you know?
Well, the mission, as stated, is to show the flag at the moment. So.
As stated, but that's not the mission.
The impression that I got, or at least the impression that Dasavi got that she's running under, is that Ambrose doesn't realize that he set a mission.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can go over this off camera when half of you guys aren't.
I'm willing to concede my headache, my be making me a little irritable right now.
Yeah.
So that's nobody. It's nobody's fault. The other thing I just want to see more of is as far as the Kendall and Dasavi thing, I would love to see how like glimpses of how a telepathic relationship between a parent and child would be, and then feel like we lost something because of that. You know, I'm not saying we did anything incorrectly or anything, but I'm just saying that's something I would love to see in the future.
I think that's hard to establish having not already seen the one side of it, but it's something that we could work on.
Yeah, no, we can work backward with it. I think I've got some thoughts.
Cool.
I forgot to send you the family blur, but I was actually I pulled it up so it's in my face, so I remember to send it to you, and realized there were entire aspects of Dasavi's personality that I just completely forgot. Like, she knits and crochets in her free time and gives the crew little like knit scarves and hats and shit.
How about
I would not have expected that.
Yeah. How about we get together sometime in the next 2 weeks and just chat about like how we think the relationship was in the past, and we can that way we get a sense for what's changed in the game.
Take it.
Cool. Yeah, we just got to figure out how to make that appear on camera too. So that's something we can do.
We can do that. I think we can manage it once we have an idea. You know.
Right. Any about something that I see different about the session?
The only thing I would change is the thing I think we all would change, and which would just be having more main story direction.
Yes.
Which I mean, I know you said
quite
you
a
didn't
bit
have time
more.
to do. Yeah.
Well, I had more stuff that I wanted to do with the EVA stuff and everything else, but that's just down a player. There's a lot I can't do. So.
Yeah. This was a session that was kind of forcibly cobbled together.
Yeah.
Despite a lot of problems, which I super appreciate.
Yeah. Heavily edited.
Yeah.
I will say I like the objectives you've given us so far. I'm very interested in playing those out.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you the main storyline for the season is out past the station there. So
cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to interact with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else you want to add?
I really enjoyed playing with y'all. Sorry if I'm irritable tonight. It's bad migraine.
Yeah. You have no idea the level of irritable that I am.
No, everybody take care of yourselves. I care about you all. So
yeah. No, this remains, I was going to say this remains my favorite game I've ever played with my favorite group of people I've ever played. So that's why I'm so obstinate and troublesome about actually playing this game, because I love it so much. So
yeah.
Thanks for seeing this through tonight, Jeff. I know we all had some things going on this week, today, this whole new year. So
yeah,
thank you everyone for being here. And I think it was a great game.
I pushed really hard to make sure my schedule was open for today, even though everything came up to make it wrong. And then obviously we lost a player for the day. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Evelyn, go take a whole bunch of drugs, get better. Brian, go take a bunch of drugs, get better. I'm already amazing. So Jack, you're already pretty amazing right now. So we don't need to get any better at the moment.
All right. See y'all next week.
We'll see you guys later.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.